Well, Hillary Clinton, who failed to hit the reset button with Russia under the Obama administration, well, she has a history, as you know, of accusing political opponents of being connected to the Kremlin. Remember back in 2019 when crooked Hillary tried to destroy fellow Democrat Tulsi Gabbard and accused her of being a Russian asset.
Russians, they have a bunch of sites and bots and other ways of supporting her so far. And that's assuming Jill Stein will give it up, which she might not, because she's also a Russian asset.
She didn't say Tulsi Gabbard's name there, but it was later confirmed that that's exactly who she was talking about. But it seems that the only one using Russia to take down American politicians is Hillary. Durham's indictment of Michael Sussman exposes what we've known all along. The Trump-Russia collusion narrative was a pure hoax, perpetrated by the Clinton campaign via Fusion GPS and the phony Steele dossier. Now, doesn't that make Hillary Clinton an asset of the Kremlin instead? Joining us now is former presidential candidate and Representative Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi, thanks so much for being here. I'm sure you remember better than anyone else when you were accused by Hillary Clinton of being a Russian asset. Do any of these new revelations confirm what you already knew, or all along did you know they were making this up to smear political opponents?
Yeah, it confirms what I knew to be true, which is something bigger than what happened to me. It really points to the fact that we have a situation in our country where the powerful elite, people like Hillary Clinton and those around her, the deep state, the media, they're all colluding to destroy outsiders who they deem as posing a threat to their power. So essentially what they do is they create this dictatorship where those who are outsiders, those who put country first, those who are not afraid to challenge the establishment and those who don't toe the line, they do all they can to silence and censor and eliminate these outsiders that they deem pose a threat to their power. And this is what is so dangerous. This is much bigger than any individual. It's actually a threat to our democracy and to the American people, and their arrogance in believing that they have the right to do this and doing so without any regard for who gets hurt in the process or how it actually undermines our country, our democracy, and damages and hurts the interests of the American people. The American people deserve better than this. And the worst part, Pete, is they get away with it.
It's true. When you heard her say that you were a favorite of the Russians, did she present any evidence of that? And when the media examined it, were you given a fair court of public opinion, a fair opportunity to actually respond to that?
I'm smiling a little bit, Pete, because you and I both know the answer to that is no. And the answer to that is no, because from the very beginning, again, this happened to me. It also happened to Donald Trump. It just points to this is not about Democrats or Republicans. It's about their concerted and collective effort working together to destroy and silence those who challenge their power. And so, no, the media did not challenge or ask her for evidence. In the clip you played, there was no request for, hey, point out the proof to this pretty heinous allegation against a sitting member of Congress with highest levels of classifications, security clearances, also a soldier currently serving in the Army Reserves. I mean, you look at all of these things and you see how absolutely ludicrous it is, but it just points to the fact that they do so completely arrogantly and without hesitation. And really, here's the danger, is that as long as you have people in power who are willing to sacrifice the interests of our country to serve their own selfish interests, rather than putting themselves last and serving the best interest of the country, if we allow this to continue, then we, the American people, will lose the country that we love.
Yeah, the worst thing is that they feel like they got away with it. They feel like it worked. They got their way. And now folks like Jake Sullivan, who was front and center in pushing the smear against Donald Trump, well, he's the national security advisor, making the rest of us wonder whether or not they'd be willing to do that to any one of us if they had the opportunity. Tulsi Gabbard, thanks for shooting straight. You always do, and we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.